This morning I'm going to share a few of my ideas to help you how you can achieve breakthrough performance using new processes and technologies. Most of us in this room have experienced several technology cycles. We saw the PC cycle back in the 80s and then internet cycle in 90s. And in my view, this technology cycle is much broader and much more disruptive for a couple of reasons. Number one, we have Wi-Fi, internet access almost everywhere in this country, at least most of the developing countries. And we have our smart devices with us. And this means that most of us now are connected to the internet 24 hours a day. That's a powerful thing. On this slide, I have listed several companies like Nest, Zipcar, Airbnb, Uber, and several others. Each of these companies, they not only developed a new product, they in fact created a new business model. So these companies are changing the business model in the industries they are operating. And we have already seen several industries transformed, and we will see many more. Now, let's talk a little bit about the automotive industry because we can all relate to it. Certainly automotive companies, they've been developing hybrid cars and electric cars for many years. Now, last few years they have seen Google, someone from outside the industry, they developed an autonomous car. Now, several automotive companies, actually most major automotive companies right now, are also in the process of developing autonomous cars. In fact, several of them launched autonomous concept cars last month at the automotive show in Detroit. These companies also launched another thing, what they call connected car initiative. And Ford, GM, and several other companies, they also launched what they call their app platform. So automotive companies right now are in the process of developing their own app platforms. I have also actually read that several of these companies, in fact, are planning to replace the dashboard in the cars with a tablet. Now, you can see, certainly it's very good for us as a consumer. We are all the time connected with the internet, but it will do for the automotive company. Automotive company right now with the apps, they are constantly connected with you, the consumer. That's a powerful thing. And certainly they can sell some apps to us. And also, for example, most of us know that car has a black box that monitors the performance of the car all the time. And right now, the only time the black box is red when you take your car to the mechanic at the shop. Now, just imagine automotive companies all of a sudden, they read that black box periodically, and they run perhaps predictive analytics and so forth, and they perform. In other words, they can monitor the performance of the car on an ongoing basis. And whenever they see a problem, they can certainly send you an alert as the consumer. So now all of a sudden, in fact, you can see how automotive company, has a sort of relationship with all of their consumers. Now they know they can continuously, keep on advising them on an ongoing basis. Now, on top of all these changes, then we have car sharing services exploding. Certainly Zipcar been around for the last several years, and most recently Avis acquired them a couple of months ago. And Hertz has announced their Hertz on Demand initiative in New York. And Mercedes-Benz announced their car-to-go service in Austin, Texas, just a few months ago. So there are many other car sharing services. So you can see automotive industry is being pulled in several different directions in terms of their business model. Now, certainly this year, we see the connected devices. And people are calling 2012 is the year of the smartphones and tablets. We already have 10 billion of these devices around. And they're projecting that we will have over 50 billion of the connected devices in a few years. What's most interesting is that, how inexpensive these devices are. We have a few platforms, and you can add connectivity and intelligence to devices very, very inexpensively. Certainly, there are many different names used. I'm calling connected devices, but some of you have seen that M2M, or maybe industrial internet, or Industry 4.0 in Europe. Now, let's see, for example, when the car is connected to the internet, and certainly car has a lot of intelligence sensors. That's how the car is, intelligent. And you can see when the car is connected to the internet, behind the scenes, obviously automotive companies have some sort of technology platform. And in addition to that, as I mentioned earlier, they can start running predictive analytics to analyze the performance of the car on an ongoing basis. And certainly, hopefully automotive companies, they also have to worry about the robustness of the cybersecurity as well. In fact, a few months ago, GE published a report stating that industrial internet has the potential to add over $15 trillion to the global economy in 2030. You can see there is a lot of opportunity. And in fact, actually, I think GE did a great thing pointing this out to people right now. A lot of companies are starting to think about, what they could do. And we do have Jody Markopoulos of GE with us, who will hopefully can share more about the GE vision around this with us. I shared this slide with you last year. You have 5 key levers to improve the performance of your plant. Certainly your people, most valuable asset. And we also talked last year, plant equipment, the things. And then you have information that you're gathering on an ongoing basis about your plant. And certainly you have all the backup, all the IT infrastructure with systems and so forth. And you have your business processes. And I also shared this slide with you, kind of pointing out a few key technologies in each of these areas. Certainly for people, we have much better collaboration technologies today. They can help you to collaborate with your colleagues around the world and, outside the company as well. And we just talked about how the Internet of Things, how connected devices can help improve the performance of the assets. And certainly on the information side, we have analytics and 3D and many other technologies that can help us analyze information better. And then at the back end, your IT infrastructure, cloud and virtualization and so forth. And obviously, all of these technologies are sort of, converging. And they can truly help you improve the performance of your plant. Now I want to actually tell you a little bit about our ARC's new concept that we call Information-Driven Manufacturing. All of you have a lot of data in the plants, most of you, gathering data in real time. And the challenge for most of you has been that you haven't had good tools to analyze that data. Fortunately, as I mentioned earlier, right now, we do have now very powerful analytical tools that can help you analyze lots and lots of data. So, in short, we think information-driven manufacturing is going to be leveraging how you can leverage the information that you have to make sense out of it, using some of these powerful analytical tools. Now, most of you have several technology platforms, and you've been working on it for many years. You have an ERP platform, supply chain platform, operations management platform, and some of you have asset lifecycle management, or maybe plant lifecycle, product lifecycle management platforms as well. I think the key for you going forward is going to be how flexible these platforms are, because technology is going to be constantly changing, and you need to keep your platforms, you got to keep on moving, faster and faster. Now, here are some characteristics of what we call information-driven manufacturing, and the point here I want to make is, most manufacturing companies, you are very conservative. You only deploy technology when it has been well proven for many years. And that strategy has worked fine in the past. But now, the way I talked about is right now, the newer technologies are more disruptive. They are moving faster. Now you have to start testing the newer technologies quicker. For example, if you are not already, testing analytics or testing actually some of the other technologies, the cloud technology, it may take you too long to catch up. So in other words, we are saying right now, you got to start thinking about how you can start moving a little bit faster with adopting newer technologies. Over the past decade, the software business has dramatically changed. And those of you who implemented an ERP system, a decade ago, very well, how complex that undertaking was, how expensive it was, how long it took you to implement an ERP system. Now today, most of the applications are available to you in the cloud. You can certainly run the application in a private cloud or some form of cloud, and you can actually pay it as you go. You can implement the newer applications today, in days or weeks. You certainly don't want to take months and months because it just takes simply too long. And certainly the newer software has, as I mentioned, many more powerful collaboration tools, analytical tools, so that they can truly help you achieve far more than you could do without the newer applications. Now let's maybe talk a little bit about how will the plant systems evolve. Certainly I mentioned earlier, you can have, it's much easier now to get your devices connected and add intelligence to you. And when you come to think about it, now we talked about connected devices, what's going on outside the plant, how is that going to impact inside the plant? In my view, I think one thing that definitely is happening, the cost of adding connectivity and adding intelligence to devices is coming way down. I'm hoping that more and more of the companies start to add more and more intelligence to the plant devices. Some of the equipment that you have in plants, companies should be adding intelligence to all equipment. As you have more intelligence, in my view, then you bring that intelligence in, start to analyze it. That's what's going to help you achieve, zero downtime. I'm hoping that, what's going on outside the plant can truly help us also inside the plant. Certainly, inside the plant you have to worry about a lot of other things. But we think what's going on out there can also help us in the plants. And certainly, we think more and more supervisory applications should be moving to the cloud, some form of cloud, and maybe it's in many cases it will be private cloud. Obviously, cybersecurity is a challenge. More 3D simulation, optimization, that's becoming important. The last point I want to emphasize is, we believe, certainly you're very good at optimizing all the processes. But now, we have tools, powerful tools. You can start thinking about having an overall, maybe you could say plant model. The tools or models that can look at actually all the processes in the plant, and not only just the plant. You also have to start looking at the information outside, in your supply chain, for example. Your customer information. You got to actually start looking at how you can start analyzing much larger amounts of information and then optimize the performance of the plant. We have powerful tools. So I'm hoping that some of you would start to look at these tools and see how you can leverage these tools to improve the performance of your plants. Now, how will automation business evolve? Again, automation business in many cases has been already slowly moving toward a service business. But we think over the next few years, we will see different service models evolve. And one of the model I have mentioned here is that we think, more and more companies you should be looking at signing some sort of what we call performance-based managed services contract with your partners, with your suppliers. And by this we mean that, you measure the performance of your partner or your suppliers based on some key metrics. And those metrics, obviously, for example, that's how companies are selling their cloud services today. As part of these metrics, certainly uptime is one metric, but depending on your needs and your plant, you can define different metrics and so forth. So we think, going forward, you can start working with your key partners and suppliers much more closely, because we think, going forward, systems are becoming so complex. It's going to be more and more difficult for you to upgrade them, for you to manage them, and so forth. You want to start working with your partners increasingly. Now, last but not least, I want to mention to you that we have 10 different programs for you, many sessions, and they will be actually held in 4 different tracks. Track 1 will be over here to my right, and track 2 over here, and track 3 and 4 are in the back. And I really encourage you, ask questions, get to know your peers around you. This forum is all about sharing, technology, things are changing so fast. It's very, very important for all of us to learn from each other and try to leverage these technologies. And I think we truly have some new technologies and processes that can help us achieve breakthrough performance from our plants. Thank you very much.